Hindi or Urdu version is in description.
They say love can heal every wound, but what happens when the same love becomes the wound itself? In the early hours of October 6th, 2025, while the city of Delhi slept peacefully, a quiet neighborhood in Gandhi Vihar, North Delhi, was about to witness something terrifying. A loud explosion shattered the night. People rushed out, thinking it was a gas leak. Smoke filled the corridors of an old apartment building. Inside that burning flat lay the charred body of a man, 32-year-old UPSC aspirant Ram Kesh Meena. The scene looked like an accident, but behind those flames hid a story of love, obsession, blackmail, and betrayal. A story where the person who set the fire wasn't a stranger, but the woman who once promised to love him forever, 21-year-old forensic science student Amrita Chauhan. Just a few months before that night, the story had begun like any modern day romance. It was May 2025 when Amrita Chauhan walked into a corporate office in Noida for a receptionist interview. There she met Ram Kesh, charming, polite, and intelligent. He was 32, preparing for the UPSC Civil Services exam. Amrita was 21, young, full of dreams, active on social media, and living her college life to the fullest. While he was serious and mature, a man focused on his future. Their first conversation turned into daily calls. Daily calls became late night confessions, and by August 2025, they decided to move in together in Gandhi Vihar, North Delhi. For Amrita, it felt like love. For Ramkesh, maybe it was control, but for both, it was fast, too fast. People often say relationships that burn quickly also burn out quickly, and theirs was no exception. At first, their days were filled with laughter, movie nights, and small fights that always ended in apologies. But soon, cracks began to show. Ramkesh starting becoming possessive. He questioned where she went, who she spoke to, and what she posted online. He would scroll through her phone, argue over her social media reels, and accuse her of being too outgoing. Amrita, who once felt loved, now felt trapped. And then, one day, she discovered something that broke her completely. In his personal hard drive, she found several intimate videos of her, moments she believed were private between them. Some reports say he recorded them secretly, others say she knew but never expected him to keep them. Either way, he refused to delete them, no matter how many times she asked. Each time she pleaded, he said, "Don't worry, I will never show them to anyone. They are just for us and between us." But for Amrita, those videos became chains, silent weapons that kept her tied to him. She felt violated, helpless, and scared. The love that once made her feel safe was now haunting her. And what's worse, when she tried to walk away, Ramkesh started sending those same videos back to her, not to threaten her publicly, but to remind her he still owned her. This was no longer love, it was psychological captivity. Broken and desperate, Amrita left Delhi and went back to her hometown Muradabad in Uttar Pradesh. There she reached out to someone she once loved, her ex-boyfriend, 27-year-old Sumit Kashyap. Sumit worked at a gas distribution agency. When Amrita told him everything about the videos, the blackmail, and her humiliation, he was furious. Instead of advising her to file a complaint, he told her something else. He said, "We can't sit quietly. We have to make him pay." In anger, they decided to take matters into their own hands. Sumit called his friend Sandeep Kumar, a 29-year-old SSC aspirant who worked as a contractual staffer in the Moradabad police lines. Together, the three began planning what they thought would be the perfect revenge. At first, they only wanted to steal the hard drive from Ramkesh's flat, destroying the videos and walk away. A week before the murder, they even came to Delhi secretly, but Amrita couldn't find the hard disk. That failure changed everything. The mission of revenge turned into the plan of murder. It was about 2 a.m. on October 6, 2025, when Delhi slept under the blanket of silence. Three masked figures entered the apartment of Ram Kesh Meena. Inside, Ram Kesh woke up confused, shocked to see the faces behind the masks. One of them was Amrita. He tried to resist, but they tied him to a chair. He demanded to know why she was doing this, but her silence said everything. Sumit began shouting at him, asking for the hard disk. Ramkesh refused. He kept saying, "You will regret this, Amrita." But her eyes didn't flinch. In anger, Sumit grabbed a phone charger wire, wrapped it around Ramkesh's neck, and began pulling. He fought, gasped, and struggled. But there were three of them. Minutes later, the struggle ended. The man who once believed he controlled everything was gone. And then came the cover up. Sumit opened a gas cylinder, poured oil and alcohol over the body, and lit it with the lighter, hoping to erase every trace of evidence. Flames spread fast. The heat cracked the air conditioner panel. Within minutes, the room turned into an inferno. At 2:57 a.m., Amrita and her two accomplices were seen on CCTV leaving the building. And just after they left, the cylinder exploded. To everyone outside, it looked like a tragic accident, but the truth had already burned its way into the walls of that room. If you have made it this far, take a pause, like the video, and consider subscribing to the channel so that you won't miss out any content. When police and firefighters reached the scene, they believed it was a gas leak. There were no visible signs of forced entry. The door was locked from inside. But then, one officer noticed something strange. The metal wire mesh near the door handle had been cut and replaced. It was a small detail, but it changed everything. Investigators realized that someone had reached in through the mesh, a trick that only someone with forensic knowledge could plan. And that someone was Amrita Chauhan, a forensic science student who knew exactly how to mislead investigators. Soon, police checked the CCTV footage. The faces were partially covered, but Amrita's body structure was clear. And when they traced her phone location, it matched the flat's coordinates at the time of the murder. On October 18, 2025, Delhi police arrested her. Within 5 days, they also caught Sumit Kashyap and Sandeep Kumar. All three confessed, and the hard disk, the reason behind it all, was finally recovered. But what police found inside that hard disk shocked everyone. It didn't just contain Amrita's videos. There were videos and photos of more than 15 women. Ramkesh had a pattern. He filmed women he dated or befriended, often without their consent. He was not an innocent man. He was a manipulator who turned intimacy into power. Just imagine he was planning to do UPSC. Imagine the power he would have after that. No complaints were ever filed, either out of fear or shame, but the evidence was undeniable. And so, while Amrita and her accomplices now sit behind the bars, a deeper truth remains. This was never just a love story gone wrong. It was a story of trust, exploitation, and the human weakness on both sides. By the law, what Amrita did was wrong. Taking a life is never the answer, but her story forces us to ask difficult questions. How far can emotional pain push a person? How dangerous can love become when trust turns into control? In July 2024, even before this tragedy, Amrita's family had publicly disowned her, cutting all the ties. A year later, she became the center of a case that stunned the nation. And as for Ramkesh, his life ended the same way he lived it, with secrets buried behind closed doors. And if you are still watching this, remember, love isn't about control, and trust isn't about ownership. When love starts to hurt more than it heals, it's no longer love, it's danger. Always know where to draw the line, because the moment you cross it, you may never find your way back. And let us know in the comments how you see this case. If you like this video, then I would request you to check out our other videos as well. The link is in description.